Red tide to nothingness. Ah! Before I speak in details of my theory of this existence and the purpose for making my album, to shed a light on a lot of issues in this world, of this world. Um, I'm just gonna blurt out and just say the solution to breaking out this matrix, and that is to destroy all things that make this illusion possible, returning to nothingness. As horrible as it may sound, it's the only solution, because all the other solutions, especially trying to seek harmony, it'll always be short-lived, because someone just have to control what another person do with their body or with themselves, especially that of a child. So as much as some of us want to fight for everyone to have a voice and to liberate everyone in respect to the next, there are individuals who deliberately feed more off of conflict and greed, suffering, low vibrations, you name it, because they benefit off of the oppression and subjugation of the masses of people. If this world, I think, will be a better place if no one had to worry about suffering or struggling to live with the bare necessities, day in and day out. And that's my short spiel on it. If you want to continue hearing me, here goes. My theory is that, and it's through my own experience, collections, some research, but if you just live and isolate yourself and pay attention, you will realize this for yourself, and you too will be a master. Whether you believe in religion or not, Christ consciousness is just a saying of being awakened again into high levels of thinking and observation, to operate more in the spirit over the flesh. And I'm not saying that the flesh isn't part of this experience, because it is. But you realize the longer you live doing or seeking material, seeking the desires, you'll see that it's lackluster. It can only satisfy you or satiate your thirst for only so long before you dive right back into this cycle just to get the next high or the next dopamine hit. That is part of the trap of this entrapment, of this matrix, of this system. They weaponize poverty to get what they want, for you to conform to being a manifest energy battery slave. They feed off of your efforts, off your will, off your energy, day in, day out. The 9 to 5, the scarcity mindsets to obtain monetary gains, money, material, finances, because they know you're in need. So they victimize you or take advantage of that to get what they're wanting out of you, which is to succumb to operating in outlandish ways or what they consider the black market or legal ways to obtain said resources that you need for your day-to-day survival in this realm. But there's a flip side to that. It is also used as a boundary, as a border from the individuals who will probably try to do something about this unfair advantages, try to set things right, from the ones who want to just live in their sin in peace. And that's where you have the issue. Like, can you acknowledge and respect a person's difference of the way they desire, the way that they function in the world, whether they is adult or a child? Because let's face it, we're all being treated like children. Our privileges are being given and taken for the simple fact that they can do it and want us to realize that they own us. But that's just a facade. If we all stand up and stop focusing on differences, we can focus on the root problem, how this stuff operates. But even then, with any one elected individual or individuals will actually fight for the people, they can only do so much, because one thing that satisfies someone else does not satisfy the next. So you try to meet down the middle, but it's tricky, because who are we to condemn anyone who decides to resort to things that are said to be illegal or immoral? That's what they did to survive. It's in their being that they desire this said person or said people or said animal, said whatever, said young persons. So my thoughts is there really a way to achieve balance and harmony? Is there really a way to achieve a fair and righteous nation or world with all the different variations of living? Will there always be someone who wants to play big brother, big sister, and render justice upon another for just desiring different from what is considered the norm or right? Can we respect that a person decides to sell substances that could potentially hurt an individual, even though they have no control over how that person uses it, if they overindulges in it or not? Is it right to punish the one that's selling it? I say no. As saddening as it is, those individuals who seek it, they seek it whether it's illegal or legal or whatever. But yet the medical industry, the pharmaceutical corporations push drugs that have even worse side effects than what is considered illegal. Yeah, they're brought to justice, some of them, but let's face it, not all. So you see what I'm saying? This in this world, it's just full of hypocrisies and lies. It's fabrications. And the people who call themselves standing up or have a sound moral compass are hypocrites themselves, because they only want to see things from their own limited lens. The same thing goes for adults having attractions to minors, or not. I don't want to call them. I'm not gonna call them that. Young adults, young people under the age of 18. How can you say that that's immoral when parents, some of them are guilty for pressuring their young child or person to be productive in school to an extreme degree? They're learning scores, musical scores at the age of 3 and 5, singing astronomically, like a grandeur, in a grandeur way, learning how to carve whole masterpieces out of wood, putting them to work as slaves, slaving it. Their portfolio is going to be astounding by the time they reach 18. You might as well like allow children to work. You might as well allow them to have a job. You might as well stop paying them to go to school because of all the pressures of them having to perform at such a high level rate at such a young age before they even reach 10. But yet you have the right or the audacity to say that they don't have the mental capacity to understand what their sexual preference is, or if their gender, if they're the wrong gender. You mean to tell me they don't have the mentality or the mental capacity to understand that, hey, I want to be a girl, and I know I was born a boy, but that's what I want. But this is what I'm saying. Y'all biased. Everyone is biased. Period. So will there ever be a righteousness, or will there ever be peace? Will there ever stop being a civil unrest? Not in this matrix, because this is a fabrication, a false world. A world created by gods, extraterrestrial beings, individuals that want to suck you dry. If they have the power to do so, they would. But they won't, because they'd rather put you in a reincarnation system to keep you feeding into the conflicts, the suffering, the back and forth, the scarcity, deprivations. They feed off of all that. Even when you indulge, they feed off of it. They feed off of all of it. And they keep us focusing on our variations of lifestyles, differences. Because they know if you just keep the gaze on each other, or downfalls or sins or whatever, that we would not come together to actually destroy this entrapment. That's the root of the problem. This. Because apparently some of y'all are hell-bent on controlling how some people operate, instead of attacking the system that keeps the majority of us subjugated and in shackles. But you have what it takes to break out of it. And that's why I made my album, Two Masters, You Are the Master. Look through both lenses, through evil and good, and you'll see what I'm saying. Everything that I'm saying is true, and observation and experiences, because I've been through some of them. I'm going through them now. I lost everything. I am in poverty. Even though I'm rich in spirit, I know what I am. I'm a master because of this, because of poverty. I've learned how detaching from everything of this offerings of this matrix brings me. It brings me clarity to actually address things and look at things as they are, not from a subjective lens of social norms or morality, which are all nothing but constructs of this matrix. The problem is people don't want to accept the truth of the matter, of any given situation. How can you forget how it feels to be a child. Because I did. I know what happened to me. And I know I was aware of my sexuality. I knew growing up or growing up in the hood about drug dealing and gang banging and all that stuff like that. But I also understood all the way back then that those people are merely trying to survive and they're forced. In some cases, they're in fear themselves from the ones who are going to try to portray them or from the law. Because they doing something or think that's the only measure for them to survive. Prostitution, you name it. These jobs, it's not enough opportunity for everyone. And the ones that get it, it's still pennies on the dollars. You conforming to a system that is said is supposed to work for you, but doesn't. You're barely able to survive. Every month, I'm starving because I'm living back with my parent, and it's only the expenses of living has grown to the point where it's hard to even eat. Be prepared to starve by the end of the month, every month. Like when I was a child, I starved every month. So that's why I support organizations, especially about starving kids, because I understand. And I'm living it now. So I understand. They try to keep you in a scarcity mindset. So you can resort to doing almost anything to survive. Like it's Hunger Games all over again. But in this reality, and the rich and mighty 1%, these same people, gods, whatever, have all the ability to help people, and they still choose not to. Why? Because it's beneficial for you to stay in poverty. It's beneficial for them for you to stay in poverty. Sorry. That's why they created these so-called religions. To what the words I forget the word. To not condone, it's another word. To be complacent in your suffering, in your treatment. But if you look deep within those books, it's also laced with empowerment. You just have to have that as discernment. But the problem is some people don't like to use their brains critically. And they don't like to use discernment. They like to just take things as it is and go on by the day. Because they feel like it's no use in people coming together and fighting. But has history shown us that it is worth it to come together, fight for something, to fight for a common goal? But the problem is we're fighting for goals that they call themselves setting out for you to follow, to give you or associate your thirst for a proper change, to feel like you're moving in the right direction. And in some cases you are, but then if that was the case, they wouldn't be taking away some rights and giving others. You see that around the world. People who want to enforce traditions or laws to attack certain groups of people for being different. For women. So really, you call yourself fighting for civil rights. We call ourselves doing that and we achieve that. And then they show us that they have the power to exercise taking that back. This is why I feel like the only option is for us to combine our forces. Your stupid prayers that you praying to your gods, pray it for yourself and for humanity to destroy this world, to destroy this matrix. I'm sorry. Not sorry. Because all is going to happen. Look at the patterns. Pay attention to patterns throughout history. History tells it all. The constant bickering, back and forth conflict, moments of harmony in between, and then you have to fight again. If manifesting this world is destruction is possible, why not? I know your emotions and your attachments to it. That's why they try to keep you attached, so you won't want it to destroy it. That's the art of detaching. Detaching keeps you out of the shackles of the matrix, of the lie, and to seek for the proper solution that will actually relieve and rectify us out of this.